Hello everybody, how are you today? Today we are doing a request. I'm trying to get to all of my requests, so I'm going to be doing a lot of requests coming up so that I can really get into the things that I want to get into. So today we are going to do a pillow, and the reason we're doing this pillow is because my sister asked me a while back to show her how to do an invisible stitch. I've been doing so many crazy things. Autumn has been going to through these things, and she just went to the doctor yesterday because she's been having stomach problems. So I am finally getting to this. So I have just 100% cotton here. I have two pieces that are right sides facing each other. So right now I'm looking at the wrong side of the fabric. It's a cute little gray that I got. I think I just picked it up at like Meijer in the section where they had like the fat quarters and things. So I cut this because it's one long piece, but here's the rest of it. So mine is 22.5 inches across, and it is 46 inches in height. So this is going to be a nice size pillow, which I will probably put on my couch. And if I was smart enough to use my silhouette, I could have put a nice little design on here. But because this is a request basically just for an invisible stitch, I'm not going to do anything fancy. However, if you would like to see fancier pillows or anything like that, just go ahead and add that to my list of requests. So basically what you're going to do is sew a straight stitch. This rectangle I'm going to sew all the way down. I'm going to sew all the way, and I'm going to sew across, leaving an opening right about here so that I can insert the stuffing. But to turn it inside out, and then I have to insert the stuffing. So since this is the side that I'm going to be inserting the stuffing on, I am actually going to fold this side down. And I'm doing this because when I do the invisible stitch, I need this to be sewn down, to be flat, folded down, and you'll see why. So I'm just going to iron this flat, and I'm folding over maybe about a 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit less. Just giving myself a nice little fold here. Okay, and it's so much easier to fold this fabric down. And I'm not going to pin it because this is a more stiffer fabric. When you buy like 100% cotton fabrics, they tend to be a little bit firmer, a little bit stiffer, a lot easier to work with than the softer fabrics like your lace, your chiffon, your satins, and things like that. So when we get into sewing with those type of things, you'll see what I mean. So I'm going to try to even this up as much as possible, so when I iron it down, they're pretty much even. And everything's in disarray, people. So normally I would have like a sheet or some other kind of fabric to absorb the water from the steam, but I just don't right now. I've been so frazzled. Don't worry about the sizzle, it's just the water. Okay. So now that we have that ironed down, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to start at this end, and like I said, I'm just going to do straight stitch all the way around, leaving an opening. Actually, I'm going to start right here because this, I'm going to leave about this much open on the top part so I can turn it right side out and insert my stuffing. So I'm going to get started, and I'm using a matching thread, so it all looks really nice together. And you want to kind of do that especially when you're using an invisible stitch. Okay, so I'm going to start right here and just go ahead and sew that down. Straight stitch, back stitch, just to secure your stitch. you see that it's uneven, go ahead and stop and try to even the fabric back up. If you need to pin, go ahead and pin. For me, I don't need to pin for this. So you are going to sew these two corners. Even though you have this gape here, you're still going to sew these two corners together right at the edge. Back stitch. I like to go over one more time. Okay, so right now this is what it should look like. Just like a pillowcase is what it looks like. However, you have this opening here. Now what I'm going to do is show you a little trick. So now what we're going to do is take our little corners here and make sure you're not cutting the seam, and just cut those little corners. I like to round it a little bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Minding not to cut your thread, or else your seam will come apart. So now, here is a few things you can do. You can, if you gave yourself enough seam allowance, you can take this, open it up, and iron it flat. Like this. You take that and you just iron that flat if you want. I'm not going to do that today just because I'm not doing it today. But if you, like I said, if you would like to see me do something, if it's a step that you actually want to see in my videos, please ask me. I'll do a part 2 or I'll do an amended video. So now we're just turning this right side out. And see, that's why we left the opening. To turn it right side out, and also to put our stuffing in. Now if you were using a pillow form to put inside, you will obviously leave the whole side open so you can insert that pillow form, but because I'm using stuffing, I'm just leaving a little opening here. And see, this is what it looks like, and that part is still folded down. And when we're done, we're going to do our invisible stitch here and close it up. Now you might be asking, can I just use the sewing machine and close it up? That's your choice, that's your preference. If you don't mind having a section of your pillow with an outside seam, it's fine. But if you want that invisible stitch, if you want to look like it just magically appeared with the stuffing in it, then I would suggest using an invisible stitch. Now I'm not going to iron this because once I get the stuffing all in there, it's gonna push out those corners and everything. So I am using this. I picked it up at Walmart. It's just a regular old polyfill. Eventually, when I start making pillows for my home and everything like that, I may not be using this. I may go into using the pillow forms, and they come in all different sizes. You can get them at Joann's. I know they sell them there. You could probably buy them online as well as like Hobby Lobby or somewhere like that. So basically what you're going to do is take your fill, just stick it in the hole and fill this whole casing up. And once it's filled, then we'll go ahead and do the invisible stitch. Okay, so I have a double knot here at the end of my thread. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up underneath this part that we kept folded. We're going to bring the needle out like this, and it's stuck in there, and now your knot is hidden. So what you're going to do now, I'm going to close these two together and then start my invisible stitch. So what I'm going to do is go up underneath this fold without coming through the other side, which this can be a little bit tricky at times. And if you could see that, I'm coming up this little fold here and then I'm going to cross and go to the other side. So the mistake I made when I first started hand stitching and I did invisible stitches, I would just keep going through the one side and then go to the other side as I wanted, but that's not how you want to do it. You want to come up under the one side, have your needle out, and then go up underneath the other side. And you can even go through the fold like this. I'm trying to see and teach at the same time, and this is very difficult. So I'm just kind of go through this flap like this and then come up. And then when you pull on it, it's closing that together. So you're going to pull, but you're going to try to go as even as possible. When you go on one side, you want to make sure you go in the same angle on the other side, because as you can see, I've gone up too far on this side and it's kind of pulling a little bit there. But the way you fix that is coming back through on this side and going in the middle a little and coming out. This takes some time. It takes a lot of time to learn how to do this, but once you get it, you got it. It's very, very difficult, and it's very difficult trying to teach you guys how to do it. Okay, maybe this will be better. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going through the side flap and then coming up at the top, and I'm going to go back around, but I just need to fix this part so I know it's closed. Just hard trying to teach you guys and see what I'm doing at the same time. Okay, so there you go. And if you need to see pictures rather than me doing it this way, because you may not be able to see me doing it this way, I can put those pictures on my blog. If you need me to, just ask me. And mine's a little bit bunched up here. So how you fix that is you just pull it. So I'm going to go through the rest of this. But basically, I'm going to show you one more time. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to take your needle, this part that you have folded down, you're going to kind of go through the side of it and come up at the top tip of it so that it's all, when you pull on it, it's invisible, you don't see it. Okay, now that I have majority of this sewn up, it's easier now for me to show you how to do it. And I will have a few pictures on how to go through, but as you can see, there's no seam on the outside. So I'm over here on, see, I just want to make sure I'm on the right side. But if I pull this apart a little bit, you can kind of see what's going on the inside there. So I'm going to pull that closer together. Just pull on that. I like things to be extra tight. So I'm just going to go ahead through on this side. Pull that thread. And then I'm going to come through on this side. And pull that thread. And I'm going to keep doing this like this until I have it completely closed. Now you're doing this on the inside as opposed to hand sewing this on the outside, because this way you won't see the thread. Now if that doesn't bother you, that's fine. You can go ahead and close this up with the sewing machine, or if you want to hand stitch it closed at this point, that's fine. But I like a more invisible stitch with pillows. I just think it makes it look neater. That's just my preference. And if it looks a little weird to you right now, don't mind that, because like I said, we're going to beat this pillow, flatten it out, get all the edges and everything looking the same. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up by just going back through again. Okay, so now that I'm all ready to close this final little bit, I'm putting my needle through the one side. And as you can see, I'm holding this loop right here. I'm doing that because I want to create a knot. And that knot is on the inside. So I'm going to do that one more time, and I'm going to still go through just like I did before. I'm going to take that through there, but only this time I'm going down and through the side. I'm going to pull on that. Okay, so if I pull now, oops, I'm sorry, forgot to cut this off. So cut that off. You might think, oh, I'm going to have a piece of thread hanging out here. No, what you're going to do is pull this apart like that, and that little piece goes right on the inside. So now we are going to flip this pillow out. So we get all the polyfill all the way through to each corner. We get it kind of unlumpy because it's a little lumpy right now. Now, one little trick you can do to get the lumps out is to put it in the dryer on like a medium heat. Throw some golf balls or tennis balls in with it, and what the balls will do is kind of flatten. It'll beat up against the pillow as it's going around in the dryer, and it will flatten this out. Now, as I always tell you, when you get fabric, even if it's fat quarters, you want to wash it just for your own benefit, as well as the benefit of sewing. And the importance of washing your fabric before you use it, number one, is because you want to get the germs off. It's dirty. It's been sitting in the store or wherever it's sitting. It's coming from a warehouse. People's hands have been on it. It's dirty. Wash it. The second thing to that is you want to pre-shrink it. Because when you're working with fabric, even if it's a pillow, if you know you're going to put the pillow in the wash, or you're making something that's going to go in the wash after you've used it, you want to pre-wash it because you want it to shrink. If you don't do that, when you wash it for the first time, it's going to shrink. Your seams are going to come out. Believe me, I've been there several times. It's not worth going over and doing your project all over again. So you definitely want to pre-wash, or at least pre-shrink your fabric. Throw it in the dryer if you don't want to wash it right away. Throw it in the dryer on a light heat. Give it that shrink that it needs before you use it. I'm just a firm advocate, just because I get sick all the time and germs are everywhere. I wash my fabric before I use it. Not all the time do I wash my tulle. Tulle is one thing I really don't worry about shrinking afterwards, because it doesn't really shrink that much. But your cottons, your lycras, and things like that, definitely pre-wash them, not just for making garments, but for your pillows and things as well. So like I said, I'm getting around to all of my requests right now. If you have a request, I will put it on my list. Maybe this year will be full of requests. I don't know, but I'm going to try my best to get to your request as soon as possible. I have a lot of swimwear coming up that people have requested for me. I have a lot of little girls and children's clothing, outfits, and things like that that people want to see. I have a few videos that people want me to redo, just because when I started doing the videos, I would do them around the time where it was the weekend and kids were home. I thought it was better for me, but there's a lot of noise and it just doesn't work. Now I do my videos when the kids and the husband are at school, so it's quiet, except for when my heat turns on. You guys hear that in the background. But don't be afraid to tell me if you don't like something. Don't be afraid to tell me you do like something. I want to hear everything because it helps me to be better. So like I said, this project was for my sister, and we have our invisible stitch. So now this is what our pillow looks like. No seams showing. And this is a little crappy only because I was trying to teach and do it at the same time, and it makes it really, really hard. But there are several videos out there in blogs that show you how to do an invisible stitch. If you want me to do a step-by-step picture of an invisible stitch instead of doing it this way, I can do a video, or I can put it on my blog. Just let me know. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and share it with your friends or family or whoever you want to share this video with. Go ahead and do that. If you want to see more videos from me on this channel, go ahead and subscribe. If you want to see me and my family on a regular basis, go ahead over to our personal channel. All of that is in the description. And also, like I've always told you guys, if you make anything that you see in my videos, tag me in it. Take pictures. I want to see what you guys are doing. I want to see how you change what I show you. So that is one thing you can do for me. And the social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr is all in the description. If you search for me on Twitter by Nika Womack, you won't find me. It's not a Nika Womack out there. I think she does porn or something like that. That's not me. My name is mama_07 on Twitter, so don't forget that, people. But I enjoyed this video. Pillows is another thing that I love to make, along with the tutus and the pettiskirts and dresses and things like that, which we will be getting into more. We will be getting into more recipes and hauls and things like that. So I will see you all next time. Bye. Hey guys, I'm back. So today we are going to do the video that I attempted to do when my sewing machine broke. So I got a request to do a video for ruffles like this on leggings. Now what I basically did was I did a ruffle stitch, and I sewed in the middle. I cut out 4 strips because I'm going to have 2 of these ruffles on each side of the bottom of the legging. Now I have another strip here that I didn't get to do before the sewing machine died, that I'm going to show you all how to make the ruffle. Now with my old sewing machine, I had a ruffler foot because this is a new brand. I'm not certain that my ruffler foot will fit on this, so I'm going to show you how to do it manually. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our tension on the tightest. Mine goes to 9. I'm actually going to put mine on 8. If I see that I want the ruffles to be a little bit tighter, then I'll turn it up to 9. And then you're going to turn your length to the longest length. Mine is 4, yours may be 5. And let's get started.